A city under siege. The city wakes to the sound of iron, not bells, not prayer, metal, dragging, clanking, being lifted into place. Forli sits under a low grey sky, its walls cold with morning damp, its streets too quiet for a place that knows what's coming. Shutters stay closed, doors remain barred. Somewhere a horse snorts and stamps, sensing fear before the people admit it. Outside the walls, an army waits. Banners ripple, armor catches thin light, men sharpen blades with the bored patience of those who believe the outcome is already decided. They have numbers, they have momentum, they have every reason to expect surrender. Inside the fortress, Caterina Sforza does not pray for mercy. She walks the ramparts with measured steps, cloak snapping behind her, eyes scanning the horizon like she's counting threats, the way other people count breaths. The city belongs to her now, not by inheritance, not by marriage, but by force of circumstance and refusal. Her husband is dead. Her enemies think that means the power vacuum will swallow her whole. They misunderstand her. Caterina was raised in rooms where poison moved faster than gossip. She learned early that safety was an illusion and loyalty a temporary condition. She knows how men behave when they think a woman is cornered. She knows what they expect her to do: lower the gates, hand over the keys, disappear quietly into history. Instead, she orders the cannons readied. The walls hum with preparation. Soldiers glance at her for reassurance and find none, only certainty. She doesn't offer speeches. She doesn't soften the truth. She gives commands, and they are obeyed. Beyond the gates, the enemy grows impatient. They send messengers. They shout promises of leniency dressed up as kindness. They remind her, helpfully, that she is a widow, a woman, a mother. Caterina listens. Then she laughs. It's not the laugh of someone who's misjudged the danger. It's the laugh of someone who understands it completely and has already decided the cost is acceptable. She knows this siege will not be won by numbers alone. It will be won by nerve, by spectacle, by the kind of audacity that makes men hesitate just long enough to lose control of the story. Forli does not yet know it, but it is about to become legend. And Caterina Sforza, illegitimate daughter, inconvenient wife, dangerous widow, is about to show Italy what happens when a woman refuses to behave the way her enemies need her to. The walls are closed, the city is watching, and the tigress has no intention of running. Caterina was born illegitimate, which in Renaissance Italy meant two things at once: freedom and danger. She was the daughter of Galeazzo Maria Sforza, Duke of Milan, a man who ruled through fear, excess, and spectacle. His court glittered with art and luxury, but beneath it ran a steady current of violence. Caterina grew up watching men smile while planning murders, watching alliances change overnight, watching bodies disappear without explanation. Illegitimacy spared her some expectations. No one raised her to be gentle. No one assumed she would inherit safely. She learned instead how power actually moved, through proximity, audacity, and timing. She learned to read rooms the way others read scripture. She learned that beauty could disarm. She learned that fear could be cultivated. And she learned early that men who ruled through cruelty rarely respected anyone who looked afraid. Caterina did not look afraid. At 16, Caterina was married, not for love, but for leverage. Her husband, Girolamo Riario, was nephew to Pope Sixtus IV. The match was designed to bind Milan and the papacy together, using Caterina as the hinge. She arrived in Rome young, sharp-eyed, and underestimated. Girolamo was ambitious and weak in the way dangerous men often are. He wanted power, but lacked the temperament to hold it. Caterina noticed this immediately. While he schemed, she observed. While he relied on papal favor, she built relationships. She studied fortifications. She studied finances. She studied people. Rome whispered about her intelligence, her temper, her refusal to behave modestly. She rode horses aggressively. She spoke plainly. She did not defer when she should have. And when her husband was appointed ruler of Imola and Forli, Caterina went with him. not as decoration but as backup. Girolamo Riario was murdered in 1488, stabbed in his own palace by conspirators who believe his death would neatly collapse the regime. They were right about one thing: they had created a vacuum. They were wrong about who would fill it. Caterina was seized, briefly held hostage, her children taken as leverage. The conspirators believed they could force her surrender. Instead, she asked to be escorted to the fortress to negotiate. Once inside, she locked the gates behind her, and from the walls she delivered the threat that would make her immortal. The rebels held her children below the walls. They shouted demands. They threatened execution. They believed motherhood would break her. Caterina stepped onto the ramparts, looked down at them, and lifted her skirts. "I still have the means," she told them. The message was unmistakable. She would not be ruled by fear. She would not trade power for sentiment. She would not be cornered. The city froze. The rebels faltered. The myth ignited. Whether she meant the words literally or symbolically no longer mattered. Power had shifted. Anyone willing to say such a thing in public could not be controlled privately. The fortress held. Caterina regained the city. The conspirators were hunted down and executed, methodically, publicly. Mercy was not part of the lesson. Caterina ruled as regent for her son, but no one doubted who truly commanded. She inspected troops herself. She studied artillery. She reinforced walls and stockpiled weapons. She rode into battle wearing armor, hair bound tight, eyes cold with focus. Italy noticed. So did her enemies. She governed with ruthless efficiency. Taxes were enforced. Justice was swift. Disloyalty was punished. Forli became stable not because it was loved, but because it was feared. And fear in Renaissance Italy was currency. They began calling her La Tigre di Forli, the tigress, not behind her back, to her face. She accepted the name. She survived multiple assassination attempts. She endured betrayals from allies and lovers alike. She refused to soften herself to be palatable. She wrote treatises on fortification. She conducted alchemical experiments. She pursued lovers openly. She ruled without apology. Caterina did not ask history to like her. She demanded it reckon with her. Every predator eventually attracts a larger one. Cesare Borgia, son of Pope Alexander VI, set his sights on Forli. His campaign was efficient, brutal, and backed by papal authority. He wanted Caterina's city, and more than that, he wanted her broken. The siege was relentless. Betrayal came from within. Supplies dwindled. Caterina fought anyway. When the walls finally fell, she was captured, dragged through the streets, humiliated, imprisoned. Rome expected submission. They did not get it. Caterina was paraded as a warning. She answered with silence and steel. She refused to confess. She refused to beg. She refused to play the penitent woman. Even in defeat, she remained dangerous, sharp-tongued, observant, unrepentant. Eventually, she was released. She did not regain her city, but she did not disappear. Caterina Sforza died in 1509. She never recanted. She never softened her legacy. She never asked forgiveness. History, uncomfortable with a woman who ruled violently and unapologetically, did what it always does. It turned her into a monster. Because a woman who rules without virtue terrifies polite narratives. Because she proved power didn't require moral permission. Because she showed fear worked, if wielded correctly. Because she refused redemption arcs. Caterina Sforza was not a heroine in the way history prefers. She was something worse. She was effective. Picture the fortress at Forli at dusk, stone walls scarred, gates closed, a woman standing above it all, daring the world to test her again. Caterina Sforza did not survive because she was kind. She survived because she was ready, and Italy never forgot it. If her story made you uncomfortable, good. History is full of women who survived by being palatable. Caterina Sforza survived by being dangerous, and the world never forgave her for it. Subscribe as we continue to exhume the lives of the dark heroines. Next time, we cross continents and centuries to meet a queen who ruled with equal parts brilliance and terror, who fought to keep her kingdom free from foreign control and paid for it in blood. Next time, Ranavalona I, the Iron Queen of Madagascar. Stay dangerous, stay loud, and never let them hold the pen.